Welcome viewers, in this video we will see the declaration of variable in the C programming. Subscribe the channel for more videos and notifications. Soft copy of this material available in the drive. The link is given in the description box. Now we'll go to the topic, declaration of variables. After designating the suitable variable name, we must declare them to the compiler, right? After designating the suitable name, variable name, we must declare them to the compiler. So the declaration does have two things. It tells the compiler what the variable name is. So it will give the variable name detail to the compiler. It specifies what type of data the variable will hold. So while declaring the variable, the compiler get two things. One is variable name and what type of data going to store in the variable name, right? So there are three types available, five types available. First we will see the primary type declaration. The syntax is variable name, then v1, v2, v3 like that. This is the variable name. So whether integer or float like that. It is a variable name of the variable. The example, integer count. That means the variable name is count. That is the type of integer. Integer a comma b. A and b is the variable name that is coming under integer type. Float x, y, z. That meaning is x, y, z is the variable name. X is the variable name, y is the variable name, z is the variable name. These three variables are coming under floating point data type. M1, M2. These two are coming under double M1, M2 means M1 and M2 are coming under the double type data, right? So this is the variable, type of variable and variable name. So the compiler will get two detail. What is the variable name and what type of data I am going to hold in this variable. That is integer type data. Now we'll go to the next one, user defined type declaration. In the second type, user defined data declaration, C support a feature known as type definition that allow the user to define the identifier that would represent an existing data type. So users are allowed to go for a user defined data type from the existing data type, right? The syntax is, there are two types available. First one is the type def. The syntax is type def type identifier. The example is type def integer units. So the unit is the identifier, the type is integer, that is declared as type def. Type def float marks. So the mark is declared as floats coming under the type def. Then what is the meaning for this? Here unit or symbolizes integer, mark symbolizes float, right? The mark is nothing but floating point, unit is nothing but integer type. So they can be later used to declare the variable as follows. That is units batch 1 comma batch 2. What is the meaning? Batch 1 and batch 2 are declared as unit. The unit is already declared as integer by type def. So that batch 1 and batch 2 also coming under integer, right? So unit is declared for a name integer. With this unit we can create n number of variable names. So that is called a user defined. From the derived type, the user is defined with units. Under unit, there are n number of variables are available. Similarly, mark, name 1, name 2. So this name 1, name 2 is mark. That mark is nothing but float, right? So the mark name 1, name 2 is coming under the floating point, right? So this is the, from the basic type, user is defined with the type def. So that it is called a user defined data declaration. Similarly, one more type is available, enumerated. We'll see the details about the enumerator. Another user defined data type is the enumerated data type. The syntax is enum identifier value 1, value 2 up to value n. From the opening and closing braces, the values are given. After this definition, we can declare the variable to be of this new data type, enum identifier v1, v2, v3. So already we declared enum identifier v1, v2, v3. So what is the meaning for this? This value, here the values are available. These are all the variables. right? So this variable can store any of these values, right? Among this, not out of this value, any of this value can be stored by this variable. That is the specialty of this enumerated data type. This is given here. The enumerated variables v1, v2, v1 can only have one of the values, value 1, value 2 up to value n, right? So v1, v2, v3 are the variable name that can have the values among this, one of this, not out of this, right? For example, value 3 can be stored in v1, value 1 can be stored in v2, right? So these values can be stored in the variable, not out of these values, right? So this is the second type, enumerated user defined data type, right? Next we will see the assignment, assigning variable to the value to the variables, assigning values to the variable. What is the syntax? Variable name equal to constant, that is a equal to 100. This is the variable name, this is constant. What is the meaning? 100 is stored in the a, 100, the value 100 will be stored in the location in the variable a. B equal to 200. What is the meaning? 200 is stored in the value b. A equal to x. What is the meaning? X value is stored in a. So this is called a assigning a value to the variables, right? So these are all the variables. This is the values, this is the variable, right? These values are stored in this variable. 100 is stored in the variable a, 200 is stored in the variable b, x is stored in the variable a. The value of x is stored in the variable a. So this is assignment. Directly we are assigning the values. Now we'll go to the next type. The fourth one is the declaration of storage class. Under that there are 4 types available. First one is the auto. It is a local variable known only to the function in which it is declared. It's called auto variable. Suppose if it is declared in main, only it is known in the main program only. Suppose if it is declared in the function, it is known in the function alone. It is called auto. Then next one is the static. So this is also local variable which exists and retains its value even after the control is transferred to the calling function, right? So first one also local variable, but it is known only in that function. The static also local variable, the name itself static. So if you control if you transfer the control to any other function, it will store the value as it is. It will retain the value. So that's why it is called a static variable. Static means statically it will store the variable, even retain the value even after the control is transferred to the other function. Then external. The next one is the external. So the third one is the external. It's a global variable known to all function in the file. So the name itself external means it is declared externally out of the main function, so that it is applicable for main program as well as the function. Any changes happen in the main program and function, that can be reflected in this global variable. That's why it is called a global variable. Then register. This is nothing but local variable which is stored in the register. All other variables are stored in the memory, but this is stored in the registers. The fifth one is defining symbolic constants. The symbolic constants. So that is defined by define. Has defined symbolic constant, symbolic name, value of constant. This is the syntax. Example, has defined strength 100, right? So this is the syntax. Has defined. This is the symbolic name. The value is 100. So the entire program, the strength is assigned as 100. Then has defined max 200. So that we are declaring the variable symbolic name max. Always it will store the constant value of 200. Entire program, the max value will be 200. Then has defined pi. This is nothing but pi value 3.14159, right? So the pi value will be 3.14159 in the entire program, both main program as well as function, right? So in this video we discuss about the declaration of variable, how to declare the variable. This primary declaration, user defined declaration, then assignment, then storage class, and defining symbolic constant. Subscribe the channel for more videos and notification. Soft copy of this material available in the drive. The link is given in the description box. Thank you for listening.